Hey guys, how you doing? Steve O'Connor back with you. I'm sorry I haven't recorded in a couple days. I've been busier than a $1 whore at a Walmart. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce this video that I just saw recently about the whole troops and the Insurrection Act being sent off to Minnesota by Trump. Watch this.
The Pentagon has ordered 1,500 active-duty soldiers to prepare for a possible deployment to Minnesota, two U.S. officials told Reuters on Sunday. That follows a threat by President Donald Trump to use the Insurrection Act to quell protests there against the government's deportation drive. The Army placed the units on prepare-to-deploy orders in case violence in the Midwestern state escalates, the officials said, though it was not clear whether any of them would be sent. The
So let's pause right there. You gotta love the fact that they're trying to do this like Red Dawn looking thing here, showing the troops that would be deployed, and they're making it out like they're going to do an airborne jump into Minnesota to quell the Insurrection Act. This is probably because this is one of those British tools reporting from like notoriously liberal BBC. As if any of the troops would go into Minnesota in that way. And of course, we do have nonstop riots going on. So if Trump's going to send somebody in, yes, he'll send in people. It'd probably be National Guard. It could even be regular troops. But I don't think there's a real reason to send in the airborne, and they're not going to jump into Minnesota. How stupid is this?
soldiers subject to deployment specialize in cold weather operations, according to the officials. They're assigned to Army infantry battalions under the 11th Airborne Division, based in Alaska, seen here in previously released Defense Department footage. The Pentagon
What moron got this footage with the Chinook helicopter? And I believe that's what it is. Sorry, guys, I'm not a military expert, but just laughable to see where they show cold weather experts and everything, as if you're going to need that in the military. They're going to be there for the long haul. This is like the recreation of Bastogne, for all of those of you that have seen Band of Brothers and everything. It's just so utterly ridiculous the way they portray this. And Trump's going to call in the Insurrection Act. Well, why would that be? Maybe because the governor and the mayor of that community are a couple of girls. These guys have zero desire to protect the people that they serve. They're allowing them to destroy their city. They're allowing them to cost millions, if not billions of dollars in damages to the city. And it's amazing to me how many times they get on there and they constantly talk about to quell protest, or he'll send in troops and incite the Insurrection Act, because it is an insurrection. It's funny how whenever liberals are looking at January 6th, it's absolutely an insurrection. They wouldn't say it's a protest. It was an insurrection. And it did devolve into some crap. I think there were a lot of plants there and all that crap. A lot of paid Soros protesters, allegedly, which were likely there. But it's comical how they do this, and they say that he's going to initiate the Insurrection Act. Well, of course he is, because he has to save the states and the cities from the Democrats. You notice this stuff isn't happening in Florida. It's not happening in Texas. It's not in Montana. It's not in Alabama or Tennessee, or it's not in any of the conservative states. Why do you think that is? Maybe because they accept the fact that the federal government has to do their job, that ICE is actually going to go and collect very bad people from our country and deport them and get rid of them. And yet all of these morons don't get that. And they want to go out there and they want to do so-called protests. And then, of course, Renee Good, she gets dead. Should have been home taking care of her three kids, but she's out there allegedly protesting when she wasn't. She committed assault with a deadly weapon over a car, and that ended her life. And why? All for what? Because she wants more illegals with serious criminal records to be able to remain in this country. Maybe one day she was hoping that one of these pedophiles could have effed her child. I mean, what a moron these people are that go out there and do this. And they don't even have any dog in this hunt, because when you look at it in perspective, she's some white citizen of the U.S. who could have just been at home with her kids, her husband, if she had one, probably a single mom, as unhinged as she was. But you go, what was the purpose of her being there? What was she trying to do? What does she hope to accomplish? Ridiculous.
and the White House did not immediately respond to Reuters' requests for comment on the order. It was first reported by ABC News. Trump on Thursday had warned Minnesota officials to stop protesters from targeting Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, agents. Otherwise, he said in a
There's the key. Under your First Amendment rights, has a president ever had to institute an insurrection act over protesters? Think about that term, protesters. You do not need the military or the police there if they are peaceful protesters.
social media post, quote, "I will institute the Insurrection Act." The federal law gives the president the power to deploy the military or federalize National Guard troops to stop domestic
Very
uprisings.
good, Limey. I'm
But the
glad you figured
president
that
can
out.
deploy active duty forces for certain domestic purposes, such as protecting federal property, even without invoking the act. In addition, the Pentagon could also attempt to deploy newly created National Guard Rapid Response Forces for civil disturbances. Trump has sent nearly 3,000.
Okay, let's just pause right here. Here's one of my favorites. Let's look at this complete F-tard in his giraffe outfit. That makes you wonder. I don't know why his parents didn't attempt to do like 122nd trimester abortion, or maybe how many times his father was kicked in the nuts before he impregnated his mom, because this is what happens. People turn out like this. Look at this complete moron. What is he there protesting? He needs to be protesting in front of psychological organizations because they might fix him.
Federal agents from ICE and Border Patrol to Minneapolis and neighboring St. Paul since early last week. Confrontations between residents and the officers have intensified since an ICE agent shot dead U.S. citizen Renee Good on January the 7th. Local
Shot dead because she committed assault with a deadly weapon. Her car, a 4,000-pound vehicle. That ICE officer, for those of you that don't know, who shot her, was struck and he suffered internal bleeding. He also, only a few weeks earlier, had been dragged by a car. So had the same thing happen to him a few weeks earlier. And no, people, police officers, are not required to step out of the way of a moving vehicle. The whole point of an officer is to enforce the law. Once an order has been given for you to step out of the car, that's what you must do. There's not the option of, I think I'm going to drive straight at the officer and he should probably move out of the way if he's smart.
leaders have accused the Republican president of federal overreach and of exaggerating isolated episodes of violence to justify sending in troops.
That's the end of the video. These people are unhinged, as you can obviously see. By the way, so guys, I'll put out the reminder once again. I am also a certified sommelier. There's a link down at the bottom of my page. You're always welcome to look it up if you're wanting me to come out and host parties. I can teach you a lot about wine. I usually make it a lot of fun, impromptu parties. I also have lessons. You go to my website, fuzzycork.com. It's attached to the bottom here. If you like my videos, please like, share, subscribe. I'm trying to build my page. I really appreciate all your guys' help, and I will see you again soon. Take care.